Get those glasses right. Here we go. And let's see if we got the sound. Yes. Right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. John Miglosh with the WDMA, searching the world for marketing news every day. And stuff you won't hear about anywhere else, probably. Okay, so let's get right at it. This is another one of the drums 100 best ads of all time, and what I like about the drum especially is that they come up with stuff that I may never have seen ever, maybe because it didn't air in the United States. And so this is one that I don't think did air in the United States. We'll give it a look. They're cleaning up the car.
Can I see your papers, please?
Really happening?
No, it's the cop is just, American accent. The identity papers don't look like American.
Mind stepping out of the car, sir?
I think it was shot in France. It's a French director.
Could you open the trunk, please?
Things
Have a
all,
good day, gentlemen.
all pressed and nice and neat. He's looking at a crease in his shirt. Okay, so that was a Levi's ad. It's hard to tell. There's a little bit of logo in there, not much at all. And in the preliminary research testing, the audience testing, it did very poorly. Maybe they couldn't remember whose ad it was. But anyway, there's a lot of backstory on this, really a lot of backstory. So let's go see what we got to remember here. It turns out that it took the creative director 3 tries to get this idea going with the puppet. I don't know what the idea of the puppet was exactly. But it was patterned after a puppet, a French character called Stéphane, and it was featured in a music video by a French DJ named Mr. Oizo, looks like. And so they didn't want a copyright infringement violation on the puppet, so they had Jim Henson create a similar puppet, but they played the Oizo's song from the music video as background music, and just this commercial took the song to #1 on the charts in England, France, and Germany, I think, and they did three different commercials with this puppet, and so as I said, they had remarkably crease-free clothing, never relied too much on audience research. Once it got out, it just exploded. It goes against almost every rule I would ever suggest, but sometimes you got to break the rules. Okay, here's another interesting article. Inflationary pressure accelerates anti-paper greenwashing. There's actually an association, a paper association or something, Two Sides North America. I've heard of these people before, and they claim that they're the only industry organization to directly challenge anti-paper greenwashing. People want to, and I've been fighting this battle since the mid '90s. When the board of directors or the CFO or somebody says, why are we spending so much on this catalog? Why are we filling landfills with paper? Or you send 2 to the same household on the same day and they say, you're killing trees and stuff. Anyway, okay. But trees are a sustainable, renewable resource, and they absorb carbon, if you think that's important. Steve Falk, is into this. there's many of us speak out on the virtues of sustainable products. And so anyway, this company has gotten and Kathy Rosie talks about all the people who depend on print and mail, and that they've stopped 170 companies from spouting off about how they're going digital, and that's going to save the environment. It takes a lot of electricity to run all our computers. I remember just maybe 25 years ago when we all switched to those spirally bulbs, because if we did that, we wouldn't have to build new power plants. Nobody seems to mind anymore that we use a lot more electricity than we used to. Anyway, we'll go on. This was a really good is a podcast. Sleep Number sees direct mail as a huge differentiator. And this is from Brand United. Okay. Got to get that in there for Chris Lyons. I apologize for forgetting that. And so it's actually a podcast, which you can click here and get the podcast to come up. Joe Keenan interviews Lisa Erickson, who's the Senior Director of Customer Relationship Management and Loyalty at Sleep Number, and she's got a background. She was with Target and Best Buy and got over to Sleep Number up in Minneapolis. And she said, we don't really sell mattresses, we sell sleep. And they have a customer loyalty program, and it's really about keeping people engaged, because they only buy a new mattress about once every 10 years, something like that. So about 4 years ago, they started working with Navistone, and I know some people over there. And there's a number of other people. I'll be talking with Brian DeLate. We're going to do an interview from LS Direct. He and I worked together on the Lovesac account. Let's see. Here's a catalog that I actually worked on a little bit on the creative. We changed the way they looked so that they put much more space into the products that they actually sold. We told the story much more than than they had been in their prior catalogs. What we were looking for is incremental lift, and something the customers could give to their neighbors. And they were actually inspired by the Sleep Number project. The Sleep Number apparently spoke at a conference, and they told me that they were going to really work hard at inviting people to the store. And Brian at LS Direct got them started with retargeting by mail. So they were already in many markets they had more than one store, so they were doing media in that market. Like Boston, I think, has 5 stores, and so they were already doing TV and talking about come to the website or come to the store, and a lot of people would go to the website, but they weren't necessarily coming to the store that much, and so they started retargeting with mail with Brian, and then we started specifically testing the offers, and what we found was there were about 4 offers that they typically mentioned, and one of them was dramatically better. It just resonated with people, and so we used that to drive people to the store. But again, we first built a foundation in testing, and then leveraged it through the media spend, and then got the testing going, and then rolled it out with that offer into the media and into digital media. And so what I like about this podcast was she explained that by inviting people who visited the website to visit the store, they got a 44% incremental sales rate. And she said we knew that because we did holdout testing. So some of the people who came to the site got mail, and some didn't. And when they compared those two populations, that's what the holdout test is about, with a matchback, they found that the ones who got the mail, and it might just be that they used the convenience sample. This isn't the best way to test that. The best way is to take people that would have gotten mail, but you don't. But in this case, you only match 50% or 20% or 80% or whatever. There's a significant percentage that we can't find their physical address, so we can't mail them a piece. And assuming that there's some randomness to it, you could consider that a holdout, or you could consider that as one test panel and the other test panel. So anyway, 44% incremental. She mentions that in the podcast, but it's not mentioned in the article. So I highly recommend. It's only 10 minutes. I highly recommend the podcast. It's really worth the time. It's very, very fast paced, unlike some other people that you might be listening to right now. Okay, let's go on. Drive sales with direct mail. This is another excellent, fun article, and it dovetails really nicely with the sleep number, because one of the things they talk about in the podcast more than the article is the idea of encouraging their customers to have ways to give the information to their friends, and so their mailings are geared to both inviting people to the store, just like Lovesac, and also pass along. And one of the things we found in pass along is that for every dollar we incrementally generated with the customer mailing from customers, we got about $2 more from people we didn't know but lived really close, like next door neighbors. And so apparently the best role of the catalog, 2 to 1, was to give the customers a way to easily communicate some of the features. Maybe they had a cocktail party or something, and people are sitting on the couch, and then somebody spills their Bloody Mary all over the couch, and the homemaker says, "Don't worry, I can throw these right in the wash machine." You can, yeah. You just unzip them, and if you don't like them, you say, "Well, let's get away from this shag carpet look, and let's get some leather." Well, we can do that too. It'll always look new, and so we probably should have fought harder to keep that part of the program going. Sounds like Sleep Number is keeping that going. Maybe I'll talk about that with Brian later today. We'll talk about, maybe we should reconstitute that. Anyway, but Summer talks about how you can get your customers to sell for you. First, you need to have happy customers. Find out what they need and go a little bit beyond. This is excellent stuff, right? Yeah. Make sure your customers are happy. And, you can send them a mailer and say, "Are you happy? Did we do a good job or not?" Send a thank you card. John Worth at Woodworker Supply tested for 6 months the value of putting a little card in the box when he shipped his merchandise, and found out that way paid for itself. And he did it with a zip code split, which I can explain to you if you call me. It's a way to test across media and across key codes without having key codes. Okay, add an incentive for customers to pass along. I just got started with Ryan Reynolds Mobile, Mint. Okay, and this is a Friends Don't Let Friends Overpay for Wireless. It's a little flyer, and it has a QR code on the back. And in fact, in the package, in the starter kit, they actually sent me some SIM cards that are free test SIM cards. So it's a free test. I think it's for 30 days or something. So I've got a whole pack, and I'm pretty happy with Mint so far. My other cell phone company, my phone was working for a minute, and then it would stop. And I could hear them, but they couldn't hear me. It was the weirdest thing, It sort of worked and sort of didn't. You had to talk fast. And it turned out that they had stopped supporting 4G, and I had a 4G phone, a Google Pixel, and they just didn't tell me. They just stopped. Well, they were acquired by Dish, and that was probably part of it. But anyway, so give them an incentive. I'm sure there's an incentive. I don't know what the incentive is, but at least they made it handy and easy, and I can hand this to somebody and say, "Hey, here's a SIM card. Here's a QR code. Just, put that on there, and you give it a try." Okay, method. Make it easy for your customers to sell for you. Right. Give a friend coupon cards, tear off postcards, buck slip, or any other device. Tracking. You need to do matchbacks. And one of the big breakthroughs with Lovesac was we actually looked at the addresses. And, the IT guy here says, "Hey, there's a lot of people that aren't quite a match, but are like right next door." So I called up Patrick and said, hey, Patrick, can I include those? He said, well, run it both ways. Let's see what happens. And that's how we knew that. We were getting a 900% ROI, and 2/3 of that was pass along. Okay? Reward your customers for that. Direct mail is a great channel because it gives real tangible materials to your customers to pass on to people they know. I had a great talk yesterday with Jeff Tarrin and Alexa out at Mike Gunderson Direct, and what a breath of fresh air. They're big supporters of WDMA, and you know, it's just so nice to talk to people that believe in mail, that are getting companies set up, digital companies that have been all digital and are seeing worse and worse and worse results. So thanks for that call. Anyway, share this. Excuse me. Talking too much. You got to share it or I'll pass out. Share this. Your friends will know you're smart, and it's worth 20 likes. So if you like this, share it. We're fighting for mail. We're fighting for paper. It's a real world we live in, not just a digital virtual world.